It's a fourth line day. We are in gate 6, the gate of conflict and friction, and the fourth line is called triumph. When you get to the fourth line, you get to the transpersonal quality of being intimate. And we know the fourth line is already all about friendship, so it's kind of got its way in there already. The 6-4 has devastating power, truly. They are the most influential emotional people on earth because they're always externalizing their emotional field. The classic example of this being in the 30th gate, which is another solar plexus gate. In the fourth line, it's called burnout. And this is where there's been this constant externalization of feelings. Gate 30 is the gate of feelings, and it can lead to breakdown and burnout. So they're always externalizing. It's not their fault. It's their mechanic. They can't help it. It's not like they should feel uncomfortable with what is their nature. The lifetime learning we have here is a position of natural and unchallengeable power. Have you noticed that all of the lines in gate 6 have got this introduction lifetime learning line? The art of managing conflict and friction and intimacy, these are things that take a long time. We have so many lines where there's nothing there, in other gates where there's no introduction line, and you're born into knowing how to deal with that. But that's not the same with this gate 6 at all. We have the line of externalization as a theme, and together with the fourth line theme of fixedness and being one-tracked, we can see that this is going to be a very dominant emotional force. This is someone who's going, I am going to get my emotions across. Now, this is the externalization of the emotional field, getting that field out, externalizing it out to the network. In the exaltation, it says the charity and wisdom that must come with victory, and the movement towards new horizons, the power of emotions to dominate a relationship. Notice that it already says that they have a victory. If one is focused and one-tracked and is displaying emotional energy, there's nothing that you can do about that. It is what it is. They're going to win hands down. The only difficulty is that when they're doing that with someone who is emotionally undefined, there can be a very powerful mirror shining back at them. And then that can create some serious emotional tension. You can get, that can be really hyped up. They are an externalizing intimacy. They are externalizing the emotional wave for intimacy, but they don't stop externalizing ever. They can't, because they don't stop. They can be very uncomfortable to other people, especially to their partners. They have to get to a point where they recognize for themselves that their emotional control of the environment can be damaging to their partner. And of course, when they're in a friendship, it's easy enough for them to do that, pull back, take it easy. And this is in a way where the wave of kindness and meanness is born. If you're a friend with this person, then you don't have to let the emotional system totally overwhelm you. The friend can always pull back. But if it's your lover, it changes things slightly. You may externalize to the point of overwhelm. And then you go from being kind to being mean, and back again. You go both ways. You might burn them up, burn them out, and then you try and make them better again afterwards. And then you'll do it again, because that's the way the wave works. In the detriment, we have the conqueror and purger, the lack of emotional control that is destructive in relationships. The externalization of the emotional motor can be very painful. This is the wave of kindness and meanness. The movement of that energy at one level is this power display of, an expression that is so kind. It's so warm. It's the emotional wave that can overwhelm you with its kindness. And it can also overwhelm you with its meanness too. Oh, it can be very fixed in both expressions. It can be fixed on being emotionally kind to you. And then, depending on the length of the wave, of course, it could be a lengthy wave, it can flip over to the other side. All of a sudden, actually, that wave can crash down. The role on the other side in the 59th gate is brotherhood and sisterhood. The strategy there is that you cannot be intimate with anybody unless you are friends with them first. It's a strategy. I'm not going to penetrate or be penetrated until this person is my friend. So that then is the power of the wave to create intimacy. It's that the power to be kind and draw somebody in, or mean and draw somebody in. I mean, after all, some people are enormously seduced by being mean. That's who, I guess it's the whole masochist sadist thing, isn't it? It will always be there because it's part of the matrix that we live in. It's built into this line of kindness and meanness. It's grounded, this sixth gate, in the fourth line by espionage, which is the 36, gate 36 in the fourth line. This is the ability to prepare for and anticipate decline through the accumulation of secret or privileged information. In order to triumph, do you think a little secrecy may be necessary? A little subterfuge, just to make sure that your intimacies are actually correct, that the conflicts and the crisis really do lead to progress and change, so that the collective and the tribe can both benefit. So the moon is still in gate 63 since 4:53 this morning. The head center gate of doubt, the need to have logical answers to questions, from the mundane to life's bigger questions. The moon then moves into gate 22 at 13:49. This is the gate of grace or disgrace. It's the gate of openness or being closed. This is the individual channel. That's the only social channel in individual circuitry. It's a solar plexus gate. Lots of solar plexus stuff going on at the moment. It's part of a manifestor channel, so there can be a deep impact when emotions are shared. This gate points to the throat, of course, so it can be very empowering to be emotionally open. It can be very disempowering too, depending on the mood. The moon then moves into our Earth gate, 36, at 22:44. Of course, it's the gate of crisis. We know about this one. The rule of cycles, in which decline is a natural but not enduring stage. We're learning a bit about this force. The gate that craves profound and intense emotional and sexual experiences in order to discover emotional depth and truth, which can then lead to a personal transformation and growth. It's an aspect of the 36 that I haven't really looked at in connection with it being grounding the sixth gate, but there can be a real vulnerability in this gate 36, especially around things like sexuality, because it's a gate of experience. There's that sort of feeling, especially if you start getting at the projection lines in gate 5, line 5, where people project on them that they must be sexually experienced. And so there can be some vulnerability that maybe they actually are not enough. So they have more experiences and more experiences because they want to prove their depth as far as sexual relationships go. So it has quite an interesting sort of correlation there with the sixth gate of intimacy. And it has a real deep need to be correct, of course. If you're going to be entering into all these experiences, are they doing them because your mind is telling you that you're not experienced enough? And everyone's going to laugh at you. And really, quite frankly, what do you think you're doing going out there? And yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop this. The moon is now moving into gate 25 from gate 36. And this is in the G center, and that's at 7:38 tomorrow morning. It's the gate of innocence. It's the gate of the spirit of the self. It's a universal love, impersonal love that is naturally, unconditionally flow. It flows towards all living things. Actually, not just living things. It's just animate or inanimate, as far as this gate is concerned. Everything is equal. Everything is deserving of love. And there's the potential to surrender to your own self. as an example of that. It's the gate of the shaman. It's a gate that's part of the mystical way. Leaping into the void, you have to get past the gate of the shaman or the priestess in order to move towards awakening in the now. Yeah, gate 25. Okay, that's us for today. So I will be back tomorrow for a fifth line day. And until then, thank you very much for joining me for this fourth line. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Although, as I've said before, I don't actually see you, but pretend I see you. I see you. I'm a projector. I see you. And go gently. Bye now.